نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nabi Nuh preached to his people at length. And finally, when he saw their insolence and their attitude and their denial and their refusal and their constant mockery, he prays to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and says, O Lord, do not spare them, for they will not beget any more believers. There will be no more good souls coming out from them. Now this is interesting because we find Nabi Musa saying the same thing. And indeed we find in the story of Nabi Hud, Nabi Saleh, Nabi Shu'aib, Nabi Lut, that when there was a distinction between good people and bad people, that the good people were told to leave and the bad people were destroyed. And this is the same historical phenomena that will be repeated in the future at the time of Mahdi, as we are informed, when good and bad will be distinct from each other. As to why this happens from time to time, we are uncertain, and it's a mystery and it needs a lot more discussion. But we have a hadith from Imam Sadiq Salamullah alayhi, in which he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mixed salty water and sweet water in the clay of Adam. And he said, I will indeed separate the salty water from the sweet water. And the people made from the sweet water will be those who attain salvation, whereas those with the salty constitution will be the people of the fire of hell. As to what the wisdom is within this, and as to why the fire of hell needs to exist, and as to the nature of hell as a cosmic powerhouse or whatever it is, these are things that need and require further deliberations and ask certain very searching and deep questions that need to be thought over. In any case, this is not the place for it. Nabi Nuh is told to go and plant trees and to irrigate them and to see them grow. Once these trees grow, Nabi Nuh is ordered then to cut them off and then to construct an ark. So he is told that do this, and when you observe water springing from your oven, then place upon the ark a pair of every species. Now here again we find a question that comes to mind, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by and large in the Quran does things in a very causative manner and a natural manner, and does not dispense with the workings of nature, whereas God can intervene and do whatever He wants. For example, He could have merely taken Nabi Nuh and other people with Him, taken them away by whatever means He chose to, and destroyed the rest of the people if indeed their destruction was something that was required at that point in time. But why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose this whole long process in order to make an ark and then to give salvation to Nabi Nuh and his people? God could have sent a thunder clap and that could have destroyed the people of Nabi Nuh. He could have rained showers of stone from the heavens. Why were the floods coming towards Nuh and destroying his people? Now here is what we understand, that there are certain cosmic events that are going to happen, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a very causative manner prepares His Prophet to receive those cosmic events. The floods, it seems, were on their way. It was a natural event, and Nabi Nuh was being prepared to confront that natural event and to be rescued through that natural event. It is here that we begin to understand that the floods of Nabi Nuh were not a miracle in the theological, technical sense, because miracles are signs from God to make the intellects of the contemporary world where the miracles are performed incapable of responding, and for the intellects then to understand that whatever sign that the Prophet is performing is a sign from the supernatural and are the supernatural workings of nature. By supernatural, we do not mean unnatural, we mean the workings of nature at a level that we cannot comprehend. But here the floods of Nabi Nuh are not a sign because the people are destroyed. Signs are normally to bring the minds towards the message of God. Similar was the case of the parting of the river or the lake or the sea for Nabi Musa. It wasn't a sign in that sense. It wasn't a miracle in that sense. It was a natural event and phenomena. And the beauty of God in this is in the way in which, how precisely and meticulously God coordinates that events, those such events, and how He delivers the faithful during those natural cosmic events. In any case, Nabi Nuh was mocked at when he was cutting the trees and building an ark away from the sea. And people said, surely he is a madman. And this is what is then telling us of the great resolve of Nabi Nuh and his substance, that he has such faith in God and he had such resolve and such substance that he withstood and did not doubt the inspirations that he was receiving. Nabi Nuh builds the ark, and then finally there is water gushing from his oven. He then causes pairs of each species to come on board his ark, and his own family members and certain amount of believers, and they were very, very few in number. At this point here we are told in hadith that the 8 pairs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created of animals for human beings were taken by Nabi Nuh on board the ark: the sheep, the goats, the cows, the camels. Now we are told that these were, in the Quran, that these were sent down upon the earth. And certain hadith say that these animals came with Adam from paradise, whichever place paradise was. Now it's interesting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have caused to be sent down these animals, because if we look at them, they give us food of their own body, they give us milk, they carry our burdens, they give us leather, they give us fur, they give us wool, and all they eat in return is grass and herbs. So they are very inexpensive. It is as if they were made for our requirements. So it's interesting to see the ahadith talking about these animals, and the Quran specifically talking about them. Nabi Nuh took many other species on the ark, and then the floods came. Now these floods are not only mentioned within the Abrahamic texts, they are also discussed in many different cultures, the Chinese, the Hindu, the South American. From what I remember, that there were the great deluge. It seems to be a historical reality. It seems that the world was drowned in water, and it was a natural phenomena that was existing. It also does not deny that there might have been human beings in other regions of the world that might have witnessed the flood if humanity had spread to that extent. All we know and what we can say from the Quran is that that area where Nabi Nuh was, the people in that area were drowned and were killed. Now, if that means that the human beings had only populated that area, then it means the whole of humanity was drowned. If humanity had spread to other areas, then it means not necessarily that all of humanity had drowned, but the humanity that Nabi Nuh faced was drowned. Now, we have the Quran saying to the skies and to the earth at some point that reduce your water and swallow your water. But how did the water come? Interestingly, when we look at our own earth, we find that there is far more water beneath the earth, within the rocks, than there is within the oceans of the earth. And we are told in hadith that the earth oozed out water excessively, and the heavens showered water or rains excessively. In any case, when the waters came, and when the ship started to lift with the water, Nabi Nuh called out to his son, and he said, "O child, come aboard with us and do not be of those who are destroyed." He, in his denial, he said, "I will take refuge at the peak of the mountain. It will save me from the water." Nabi Nuh said, there is no saving from this event save by the consent of God. And between them came a momentous wave, and Nabi Nuh's son was drowned.